Carl sometimes.
Listen in your office, in your car, or even your neighborhood bar.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We're having fun. We're making it happen.
It's fun time.
Open your mouth, close your eyes. We're going to give you a big surprise.
And here it is.
What are you doing?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to reveal where is he? Yes, it is Karl sometimes. This is sometimes. Welcome to the birthday boy, Karl Hamburger. Karl, thank you for being on with us.
Guys, long-time listener. I watch every week. I'm excited to be here with you both. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I am sorry to hear that you couldn't figure out anything else to do on your birthday, but we appreciate that you're with us. And not only is it Karl's birthday, not only are we celebrating Christmas, it is also Kissmas. So returning to the show, returning champion, Don Jamieson. Don, thanks for being here.
First time, long time.
Well, we appreciate you being here. And
You were just here a couple weeks ago.
Don,
A lot has happened.
thank you, Eric. Don, very quickly, tell everybody what you just told me about how you were at a dinner with Ace Frehley just like a week ago.
Well, yes, it's fresh off the triumphant appearance, breaking down the 1979. What was it? The day after show with Tom Snyder and his special guest, Kiss. Two of whom remember the appearance, and two of whom sort of remember the appearance. But when I mentioned it to Ace that I'd done a whole podcast revolving around that, he said first thing he asked me was, "Did I do that recently?"
and I believe you said question number 2 was, "Who's Tom Snyder?"
Yes. Question number 2 is Tom Snyder, but his girlfriend has a way of putting everything into historical context for him. And once we got him going, then he started remembering some of the jokes and how unpleased Gene Simmons was with him after the taping.
Okay, so originally it was just a theory that he wasn't happy, but it in fact is confirmed. He was not happy.
No, and in fact, in the commercial break, their manager at the time I don't know if it was Doc or it was a surrogate manager who was babysitting, but he had to step in during a couple of the commercial breaks and try to calm the children down. But as we all saw, that was to no avail.
Well, in a moment, we're going to kick off Kissmas with a different clip, and Ace Frehley is not there, but Gene finds someone to be very upset with, which we'll talk about in a moment. But Eric Zane, please let everybody in our chat know how super chats work on this show, because I'm not going to lie, there are probably people that haven't checked out this show in 2 or 3 months, because now that Hamburger's back on board, Hamburger, maybe we'll get some of those Hamburger super chats.
Oh, yeah. Well, with 2 A-listers, you expect nothing but. I mean, I'm looking at the number of people viewing. It's already exponentially higher than when you and I are in here schlepping it up. So that's a great point. If you leave a super chat, the highest dollar amount with a snarky thing that you say, that's what Christian will sign off with. So, I mean, you can talk about anything you want. And frankly, I think that people are kind of missing an opportunity here to make Christian really, really uncomfortable. So take advantage of that. Absolutely. In fact, we already have a couple that came in. It looks like Simon343. Happy birthday to Karl. Still rocking the frosted tips.
Hey, it is the Christmas season. Yeah.
Right.
Real quick.
Say something nice. You can absolutely do that too. So this is twofold. A super happy fun chatter sent $2 to Karl for his birthday. Karl got drunk.
Not yet. We're not there yet. I did get this note this morning from producer Chris. Sent this to me.
Happy birthday to you.
You know, producer Chris sounds drunker than usual in that clip. You might have a problem. You might need to go talk to him.
That's a little violation here. If you could please leave all that bullshit podcast war stuff.
Sorry, no more stuttering John. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't do that shit here. We have Don Jamieson. We don't want to hear about your little feuds and whatever it is that's going on. So
good point.
If you don't mind, could you please keep it above board?
That's a great point. When Don's gone, we can get into more of that stuff. And Don, obviously, when your time is dwindling, we'll give you a chance for some plugs. But I know you've got a big show coming up on New Year's Eve. We should mention that at the top of the shoshow, right?
Yes, I'll be in Nashville, which I'm very excited. There's a great little music venue down there called Wind Down, winedownnashville.com. And unfortunately, they are shutting down. But appropriately, I'll be the one shutting them down. Because after New Year's, that club will be closed, and it won't be the first one I've ever closed with my comedy stylings. So come on out, New Year's Eve, Nashville, winedownnashville.com.
All right. And DeWired Christian says Don is actually a real comedian. And I think it's important to point out that we have real Don Jamieson, not discount Don Jamieson. This show brings you the real, actual Don Jamieson.
I've talked to Discount Don many times. My first time talking to the actual Don Jamieson. It's great to have you on the show, buddy.
Oh, it's great to be with you, Carl. Thanks, man.
It's this is fantastic because the last time we talked Kiss, it was too goddamn long. And Liam points out, how many hours will this week's Kiss segment be?
Well, this entire show is part one of the Kiss conversation, and then part two will be Unboxing Day. All right, Liam McEnany, we appreciate your $2. But let's kick off. I know we're doing things a little different this week. We're going to kick off our moments in broadcasting history.
Flashback. WATB.
Way back into time.
Let's find out who are these broadcast histories.
All right. So this year for Kissmas, we're going to have some clips from the Howard Stern interview from 1993 featuring Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. The person that is going to be annoying Gene Simmons is, of course, Howard Stern. This is a very interesting moment in time for Howard. He is not quite the king of all media, which might come across in some of this. And I want to start off with a clip that will make you realize just how much money he's made in the last 30 years.
I wish I could pay the taxes on $100 million. I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to.
Do you think he's happy paying the taxes on $100 million at this point?
Every quarter, he has to pay the tax on $100 million. It's got to suck.
Yeah. This is
good thing
he has
it. It's a good thing he hasn't overstayed his welcome in radio, though.
That's the radio way to do it. That's normal. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you understand how radio works. It's never really about when it's your time to go. So there's a number of things that Howard says that really stand out. Some of them really haven't aged well. I don't know that this one was ever true.
But I tell you what, if somebody would have said the same thing about a loved one of yours, whether it's your wife, your children, your mother, your father, you would have done the same thing because
that is wrong. I do not get offended that easily. I do not get offended easily. And I always wait to hear something firsthand. Always.
Well,
always wait.
It was a very...
Anybody who listened to Howard over the years, Carl, do you think that Howard doesn't get offended easily? Do you think that that's accurate?
Howard one time got very upset with Richard Christie for pulling a prank on him because Howard says, "You don't prank me, I prank you. Yeah. I'm not the one getting pranked around here." He's very thin-skinned, that Howard Stern.
Yeah, Sal talked into his microphone once, and I'm surprised he still works there. You know,
the bullhorn incident.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
As soon as I saw Gene, I was picturing one of the extras from Game of Thrones. What a fucked up look that is.
Well, Don, talk about this moment in history, as they say. This is the revenge era. So this is before they realize how much money they could make by putting the makeup on and getting back together with the other two members. Talk about what you thought. You know, you're not as crazy about Kiss as I am, but what did you think of this look, this era, the revenge era of Kiss, Don?
Well, while I agree with Eric about this look being awful, it is by far my favorite Gene look. He's growing the goatee in there because it's the 90s. He's still got the flashy shirt on, just so people don't forget, because we had just come out of the 80s where some of their costumes were so flamboyant they could have read to kids during a drag queen story hour. And so this look kind of encapsulates all of it. It's the 90s wig for the 90s, it's the goatee, and of course the grungier sound on the later Kiss records.
If Cher became a man, it would look like this.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you brought up Cher because we're going to hear a lot about her as we go along. But
good.
First, Howard has a question about Gene's jewelry.
Wait a minute, Gene. Are you wearing what? Is this a cross?
No, this is a dagger.
No,
but
that is a Christian cross, and you guys,
Not at all.
you're from Queens, Paul, right?
yeah, I was brought up in Queens.
What is your real name, Gene? Tell everyone your real name.
Well, I named myself Gene Simmons, so therefore that's my real name.
Yeah, but it's Chaim what?
Well, my point is Howard Stern is not really your real name.
No, Howard Stern is my real name.
No, it's not.
Nobody names themselves Howard Stern.
You didn't name yourself. Somebody named you.
My mother named me, and she wanted to name me Harvey. I should have smacked her in the head.
Therefore, it's not your real name.
Yeah.
My point is that my name, the name I chose for myself, is Gene Simmons. Usually when you're born...
But you were born in Israel, true?
I was.
All right. You were born in Israel. You come over to this country at what age?
I was about 9 years of age.
9 years old, and you were studying to be a rabbi, true?
True.
At 9, you were studying to be a rabbi.
Where's he going with this?
Well, that's actually why I let it go a little bit longer than I normally
yeah.
would. Howard gets so much praise, let's say
Jesus
like
Christ.
a decade ago, about being a great interviewer. And I think legitimately it was something he got really good at. But this, as the great Casey Kasem would say, this is fucking ponderous.
Let the guy talk. He's just screaming at him, interrupting him nonstop.
He's like, but what's your name? Yeah. And I don't know, whatever. Speaking of Howard's microphone, like whatever the modulation is that they started using a few years later when he's actually in the studio, you forget kind of this voice of his. But yeah, Gene's just look. And should Gene be wearing a dagger on an interview with his shirt open, Don? I mean, do you think that maybe that's the better question?
Well, it's not so much the jewelry, but it's Howard Stern, the guy who for decades insisted I'm only half Jewish, is now attacking a fully Israeli man with a Hamas-style verbal assault and browbeating him until he admits he is a Jew.
Yeah. And look, I mean, if I were Gene Simmons, I wouldn't want to say on TV that my name's Chaim Weitz. I get it, but I think, he's just like, what does it matter, Howard? Gene really has, he has to put up with a lot from Howard in this opportunity because I don't know if you've heard, but Gene used to talk about how he'd been with a few women in his day. And that's what Howard really latches on to. But the interview styling is still leaving a lot to desired as basically Howard does the worst thing, which is basically just repeating something that somebody said to you and claiming it as your own joke. I believe that's called a Zumach, Carl. Maybe I'm wrong. But let's
don't clam up on me tonight, Gene.
All right, we're trying
you. You have a lot of sex stories, and you're going to reveal them tonight. I want to hear it.
What is this thing with you and this voyeurism?
Well, I would love. Listen, I'm a married man. I've not had sex with a different woman for 19 years.
I don't believe that.
I swear to you, it's true. I swear to tell the whole.
What does your wife think about that?
My wife. Listen, don't be a wise guy, okay? Now, listen to me.
Yeah.
The point is that I really have not had an affair in 19 years with a different woman.
a wise guy.
And when I have rock stars on, guys who have had sex with lots of different women, it's exciting, especially like Gene here, who's had sex with Cher.
Will Chamberlain.
And even we learned a little Will Chamberlain, and no, not Will Chamberlain, but Jessica Hahn as well. We heard.
Yeah, so Paul says Will Chamberlain is a joke, and then Howard immediately says, yeah, Will Chamberlain. I don't know. I just feel like he gets so much better than this. Like, but then the next time that I remember him interviewing these two guys, Carl, was just like last year, and all he wanted to talk about is how much Gene Simmons must hate his mother. I believe you covered that on WATP.
You want to talk about his childhood the entire interview for some reason.
Therapy.
But also, I think Paul Stanley was just talking about who he slept with. It probably wasn't the Will Chamberlain we know. It's a different Wilt.
Yeah. it's
Billy Chamberlain. It's some guy he picked up.
Yes.
I much prefer this interview style than the Wikipedia interviews he does now for the last 10 years.
Agreed.
You mean Howard's interviews where it's over, it's a little over researched. But my favorite thing that Howard does now is he's talking to Robert Plant, and then it's like, hey, you remember this song? And then he plays a little Led Zeppelin song. What about this one? And I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, I think he had like Mick Jagger for 30 minutes, and half of it was him playing his songs and trying to talk to him about it. But in this day and age, good old Howard felt like what he wanted to know about was all the sex these guys were having. And I don't know. At this point, it's wearing really thin with Gene.
So you're saying you're accessible to your fans. I know Gene is very accessible to the female fans. Gene has had over 1,000 women.
You're gonna drive this point to the ground.
Of course. Yeah. But you drive it to the ground. You're the guy who publicizes the women that he has.
I do no such thing. If
You're fascinated with knowing, and he's fascinated with talking about it. I shut up and do it.
You know what?
Do you think that's true, Don? That that Paul Stanley is just as much of a coxman with the ladies as Gene, and he just keeps quiet about it? Is that the rumor that's followed the band around for all these years?
A coxman with the ladies. There could have been a period after coxman,
or possibly a comma between cox and min. I don't know.
And then the question mark, yes, 3 at least after that, and a smiley face emoji winking. But I don't, but they have their shtick between them, and I'm sure Paul was very proud of that line.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. That's what he remembered about this. So prior to this interview, Gene Simmons had threatened to basically beat up Howard because of comments that Howard had made for Kiss's second drummer. Eric Carr passed away. He's a great drummer. People really liked him, and apparently he was a big fan of Howard. So he kind of thought like, oh, okay, one of his friends talked to Howard, and Howard kind of made fun of Eric Carr after he died. Maybe not the best choice, but so he also is hammering Gene about this, to the extent that he has this very comfortable interaction with Gene where he asks him to stand up to see who might be able to kick each other's ass.
Well, no, I think Gene could probably beat me up. Stand up, Gene. Let me see. Let me see how tall you are. Let me see how big a man you are. I wonder if I could. I wonder if I could beat you up. He looks pretty rough, though, right? You look kind of rough.
No, I mean, when it's important, I think anybody can beat anybody up.
Have you ever been in a real fight?
I haven't been in a single fight in my entire life.
You have never kicked anyone's butt?
Never.
And yet you were prepared to take me on, knowing that I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Black belt, silver belt, I could have mopped the floor with.
You feel you would have won?
Easily.
I don't know.
Everything about this is stupid.
Everything that, yeah. Because are there two people I'd less want to see fight than 1993 Howard?
Howard can't beat up Mini Kiss. The fuck's he talking about? Howard gets his ass kicked by everyone.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Gene never got into a fight. I mean, you just figure you wear boots that often in public, it's just going to come up at some point. One final point on the fight, and even Paul Stanley's had enough of this line of questioning.
So you told my producer that you were going to do what to me? Tell everyone. Go ahead. Confess how you acted like a child. Go ahead.
Is this a mini-series?
No. Confess what you said. Gene, go ahead. And we'll get into the whole Kiss thing and the new CD and everything. But just go ahead.
The new CD called
Alive
3.
Yes, but we'll get to that.
Just came out.
I have it right here, and we're going to talk about the new CD.
That's a very fine idea, because the record company would be very, very sorry if you didn't do that.
Oh, please.
And they'll come here and beat you up.
Yes, they will threaten my life.
Now, this is so not interesting, and I think that's one of the things that stands out to me about all of this. And I don't even blame it all on Kiss. I blame it on fucking Howard.
Yes,
yeah.
It's
back
Howard.
then, to think that back then there were people hanging on his every word for this fucking interview. It shows how much better we are at what we consume, that our tastes have evolved to such a higher level. The fact that he's talked about nothing interesting during all of this. He's got
badgering
on with him, and he's fucking annoying.
He's just badgering his guests. I remember he had Frank Zappa on. This had to be back in the late 80s or something. And he was trying to do these bits with Zappa, and Zappa wasn't going along with any of it. It's like, dude, you have Frank Zappa in the studio. Talk to him about something.
Yes.
Not everything has to be about, yeah. I mean, Howard's definitely evolved since this era, for sure.
Well,
he's
he's
wacky. He's wacky and kooky. He's every fucking morning zoo you've ever seen.
Yeah, but in all fairness, we didn't see the entire clip, because right after that, Paul says that he just kicks ass and doesn't talk about it. So, and he puts the X in the sex. So.
I see a super chat there. Yeah.
Yes, Belial Bradley, I think I said that right. It says Gene Simmons has the saddest sex tape out there and threw $5 at us. Thank you. And I did not mention another one from that same person. Rochester equals NYU bootleg degree capital.
We churn them out as quickly as we can over here.
Well, we talked a lot about sort of the perception of Paul Stanley, and let's just say that sometimes there's clips that age well, and then there's this one.
Look and enjoy. Gene Simmons, and this would be the Paul Stanley.
Let me tell you something, just an exclusive.
Yes.
He was screwing Barbie.
Yeah, that's right. That is correct. No. He was having sex with Barbie right here.
So what was I, with G.I. Joe?
No, you were with your wife.
So Paul asks, so what? I was with G.I. Joe, and look, I think he's trying to tell us something. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Paul just wants to let us know something, but maybe I'm misinterpreting that. What do you guys think?
What is going on here?
Cobra Commander's very confused by that.
Yeah. But in terms of people maybe trying to tell us a little bit of something about themselves and rumors that have swirled around them in recent years, Howard has a really curious behavior here with the Peter Criss doll.
I got to say something. Look at the buttocks on this particular member. Is that nice or what?
I think that was Action Jackson.
Was this Action Jackson? Yeah. Let me tell you something. This, I am all man, and I've never looked at another man's buttocks, but this doll has a beautiful buttock. Touch this man's buttocks. Go ahead. You're not going to believe it. It's fantastic.
I want to take him out to dinner first.
Yeah, take him out to dinner before you touch his buttocks. Now,
so in that 19-second clip, Howard twice again did that thing where somebody makes a joke and he just repeats it. And look, I'm a huge Howard fan. Less now, but and I think that he was so much better shortly after this. I don't know. What do you think it is, Carl? As
Christian,
somebody who knows,
this interview would have been better if Kiss wasn't there. Howard just wants to be talking. I mean, you're seeing this now. He's like trying out his bits. He's got props now. He's doing prop comedy. He's fucking Carrot Top.
Hold on a second. I got a theory, because right now for the last several years, we've heard Carl talk about how shitty Howard is. This is obviously a pile of shit. So are you telling me there's a neat little pocket where it's amazing?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm going to tell you, yes, there absolutely is. Especially the, Artie Lang on the show, the early years on Sirius, where it was like, I didn't want to miss it. And, there's a clip that I was going to leave on the table, but Carl, you talked about how Howard's turned into a prop comic.
I want to thank my mother.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say to Eric, look, it's no free beer and chicken. All right, Eric.
Hey, don't get
it was pretty
hurt.
good.
Don't get butt hurt because you like shit radio. This sucks.
Some would say that the present day free beer and hot wings is the best era of the show. I don't know who would say that, but people are saying
asshole. I know what you're doing there, you fuck.
Look, I heard a clip on your own show. It was pretty great. They were badgering a girl for having an opinion on something. So
come on, guys, let's get back to Carrot Stern.
Yeah. All right. So Carrot Stern dips into his bag.
I want to thank my mother, who actually took the lunchbox.
There's no sandwich in it from a Kiss concert.
Let me see. I can open it up. I packed a roast beef sandwich in my mother. There it is, right there. Hello, guys. Okay, so there it is.
So, for our audio audience, Howard produces a roast beef sandwich out of a Kiss lunchbox and does have it talk to them. So
I thought for sure it was going to be a vagina joke. Like, oh, Gene, is your dick going to go in this thing? I can't believe it's taking you so long.
You're right. It is prop comedy. He's like, poor man's soupy sales or Carrot Top, just like you're saying. Man.
I am surprised that Gene didn't try and fuck that sandwich, to Carl's point.
The legendary Wiz in the Howard Stern costume, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing to watch multi-millionaires just devolve into 12-year-olds at school. In the cafeteria, they're going to fight each other. I'm surprised, one didn't say his dad could kick the other dad's ass. And Gene is Gene's so cranky because it took half the show to get a plug in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's like a old British guy who hasn't had his first drink of the day, and he's all cranky until he finally gets, he gets that pint in him, and then he's the happiest guy on earth. That's like Gene. He's Pavlov's dog with a plug for Kiss Alive 3.
I like too how Gene tried to make it seem like, look, I don't care if you plug our stuff or not, but the record company is going to be very upset. Me personally, I find it kind of weird that we're marketing our stuff all the time. But
I only have 20% on the back end. I don't care if people go and buy Kiss Alive 3. What were you going to say, Eric? Sorry.
Fast forward to today. Can we have a moment where it's Paul, Gene, Howard again promoting whatever the fucking avatars are that are going to come to a town near you? Oh my God.
I think Howard would think it's pretty cool because he likes the idea that they don't have to leave their house.
Yeah.
Well, Don, you probably saw when Kiss was on Stern. I think it was this year, maybe last year. It's pretty recently.
It was over the summer, I think. Yeah, it was this year. Yeah.
And Eric, it's so awkward because they're in full Kiss gear, makeup and everything like that because they're performing songs live. Over a 2-hour interview, you watch the other two guys in Kiss just stand there like dopes. Howard has no interest in them. There's no questions. The entire time Paul's trying to be like, well, it's funny you say that because our guitarist over here. And I was like, whatever, moving on. Let's get back.
At one point, he literally says, well, Eric has a good story about that. And Eric does, they both have good stories, but Howard wasn't interested. He's like, but let's talk about Gene hating his mom.
Oh no.
And then, of course, Paul had the most cringe line quite possibly in the history of radio because yes, like you said, he ignored the two newest members of Kiss, but Howard has to ask about why don't you get back with Ace and Peter and have them play on the End of the Road tour, and Paul said, well, if they played with us they'd have to call us Pith.
That's right.
That's exactly what he said. And Craig Gass has nothing on you. I didn't know you had a Paul Stanley.
That's a good Paul.
It's all I could muster. I did a little sachet for you. I've done my duty today. Let me get my plugs in and get out of here like Gene.
No. You've got to see Gene try to get his plugs in. We've got just a few more clips of that. Hang on.
That you two take a higher percentage than the other members because you're considered the core founders of the group.
We make sure that everything turns out right and everybody's very happy, especially on Alive 3, which really sort of encompasses the entire history of the band, which just came out.
And you become multimillionaires. And what you are guys who were raised in Queens.
Yes.
Right?
That's the second time, by the way, where Howard tries to talk to them about how they're from Queens because he's really latched onto the fact that they're from Queens. But yeah, just Gene rolling his eyes. I mean, so how about those plugs? You know how much I like to plug my material on the show. Let's see. We've got just a couple more.
Gene yelled at me during the last break. He said, look, I want to talk about my CD. That's why I'm here.
I want to talk about Alive 3.
Right. I will allow you to plug your CD if you tell me what it's like to have a night with Cher in bed and if she's good in the set. If that will be the deal.
It's a deal.
All right. Right after these words.
Three people clapping.
Yeah, that's the worst is the fact that there's no audience, so the people who are working in the studio are clapping. So I think eventually Gene realizes, all right, Howard's going to keep asking me what it was like to fuck Cher, and he won't let me promote my CD until I do.
Why should I show you a new video unless you tell me what it's like to have a night with Cher? Okay. Where do we meet Cher? Give me a sample of how you got Cher. Where did you meet her quickly?
We met at a party, and I asked her to sing on my solo record, and I told you the specifics, but this is the real
No. Wait a second. You're not getting off these. You need to tell me you meet her at the party.
How long did you take to
destroy? Tell me that. How long? A day?
2 minutes.
Are you that charismatic that you can bed her down in a minute? Was she on the rebound from Sonny?
For me?
Yeah.
Sonny was great.
Did you have Sonny as well?
Oh, yeah.
Did you end up in the sack with Sonny?
Yes, and Sonny was just superb.
All right, so the point is you're not going to tell me about you. That way, I'm only going to play a little bit of your video now.
What specifically do you want?
I want to know, is she incredible in bed?
Yes.
Okay. Does it take a long time to woo her, or can you get it done quickly?
It takes a long time.
It takes a long time. It wasn't kind of thing where you could do it in one night.
God.
She's not as loose as we think she might be, right?
Fucking terrible.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll show the video.
All right, now here's your new video. Take a little look at this.
And he finally shows the video.
Why should I show you a new video unless you tell me?
Sorry. Yeah. So
I think Eric, Carl loves this more than anybody. He's going to listen to it again. Carl thinks this is great.
Well,
what I can't understand is that Gene Simmons then went and got on, and I know we're not allowed to say his name on the show, but was in Stuttering John's music video after this. Why is Gene even friends with these people?
This is not the last time that that these guys spent time with Howard, but you'd think it would have been. But I think that Gene probably preferred when they were fighting and he wanted to kick his ass. I'm surprised he didn't want to kick his ass after this. All right,
I was going to say, no, I was going to, Gene just wanted to cover up for the fact that, Cher wrote the song, If I Could Turn Back Time, about dating Gene, and the original title, which most people don't know, was If I Could Turn Back Time, I Would Have Fucked Ace instead.
I think we all would have, even
he didn't want that out there.
All right, let's let the plug get in for a 30-year-old album.
This is the CD. You have all the songs on here, the live versions. Is that correct?
That's
And
right.
these are not touched up in any way. This is the real
our
raw.
third live album in 15 years.
Hey, Don, Howard asked the question. These are the live versions. They're not touched up in any way, and they ignore that. Do you think Howard has some inside knowledge about what live albums are actually all about?
I don't know. This interview is so all over the place. I mean, it's stream of consciousness. He's just babbling on, and but they don't care because they're getting the plug. So yeah. But I think we can safely assume if it's a Kiss live album, there's almost nothing live about it.
Right. even the audience is from a different concert from what
from last year's Super Bowl.
And so our final clip for this segment is just a little reminder of someone and why it's in our Hall of Fame segment. We get a cameo appearance from someone very important to the Stern Show lore.
What I've done is I've changed my hairdo around. I don't know if you guys notice. You guys would be aware of this kind of stuff. You're very into the rock fashion. I am growing my hair out to the side. That is where the move I'm going.
Who told you to do that, Mr. Shirley?
No, Mr. Ralph told me to do that. Where is Mr. Ralph? Mr. Ralph, come take a bow. He has been advising me. Mr. Ralph, you want to take a bow?
Why is he talking about this?
Ralph, come on and take a bow. This idiot is telling me what to do. There he is. Take a look at that. There you go.
That's
The great Ralph Sorella taking a bow. But yeah,
he
this
just
isn't.
passed. Okay.
This isn't from the recording session. This is actually what aired on the show that he brings Ralph out.
Yeah, I like that. I think he goes, "Hey, Paul Stanley, I have a boyfriend too. Hey, Ralph, come on out here. I want to introduce you."
Well played, Carl. Well played. And we have to say rest in peace to Ralph Sorella.
Yeah,
one of the great villains ever on a radio show. May he and his berries rest in peace.
I loved him as a caller on the Howard Stern show. He was great.
Oh, yeah, and one of the best beards ever.
Yes.
All right, Don.
The one he grew.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what
obviously.
I thought you meant.
I think we all knew what you meant. Don, I've got a couple clips that I think will be of particular interest for you. So stick with us while we head over to Who Are These Pundits?
Folks out there need to listen up, mainly because here comes Who Are These Pundits?
And I assume, Don, that at some point you've gotten to know the great Doug Stanhope. I feel like you must have crossed paths with him. He's he's been around long enough, right?
I would have to say, other than Dice, in the current day, Doug Stanhope is my favorite comic.
Yeah, and I think we're all probably decent sized fans of Doug Stanhope. Someone who's not, as it turns out, is Jesse Waters. I'm going to assume that there's a producer on Jesse Waters' show who, like us, big Doug Stanhope fan, thought that it would be a good fit. And I've heard Stanhope talk about this appearance. It was supposed to be 4 minutes. Let's take a look.
Doug Stanhope's a comedian who joins us now. Doug, I mean, I miss this. Hunter's cool.
Hunter Biden.
Hey, first of all, I have no party affiliation. I am wingless. I am a grubworm, maggot. I don't care either. But you're completely ignoring that they were making fun of themselves as much as anyone. I listened to the sketch. I don't know dog dick about Hunter Biden. I have a home life and I do things. I don't. But Hunter Biden isn't a new story. Like if you go back to Betty Ford had problems. Were you trashing her for being an alcoholic? The guy's evidently a drug addict. He's having some fun, I guess. Billy Bush, Billy Carter, Billy Beer. Wasn't that funny in the moment?
We'll let Doug continue in a moment, but I watch a lot of Fox News. I'm pretty sure that this is the first time that the phrase "dog dick" has ever made it on the air.
That goes fantastic. God,
I thought Tucker got fired for that.
that might have been what it was. The interesting thing, and they'll go to the wide shot again. I heard Doug talking about this after the fact. They sent a camera crew to a diner where he was eating before he was hosting an open mic somewhere. He lives out in Arizona. So you'll notice, our visual audience will see it's very brightly colored. There's a lot happening back there. And what he didn't know, Doug Stanhope had never even heard of Jesse Waters. So what he learned was basically while he was on hold, waiting for the segment to start. So he's got some thoughts that he wants to share with Jesse.
Wait! Don't unfreeze that yet, because I'm just thinking.
Sure.
Look at both of those. Those are the perfect headshots for both of those guys. Jesse with the fake smile plastered on his face, and Doug with the drunk face.
He's got
one eye open.
Yeah,
Actively passing out. Yes.
Did we have to wait a long time? Chelsea Clinton, she sold a bunch of top secrets to WikiLeaks and changed her gender. All of the presidential.
Great joke, by the way. Fantastic. Even Jesse doesn't want to laugh. He's like, all right, I'll give you that one.
Pretty good.
Families have had issues. Why Hunter Biden is specifically chafing your crack?
Well, I think because Hunter has had all of the issues that everyone has ever had in the history of first families. And I'm fine with it because this whole time I didn't realize how cool he was.
I banged my brother's wife while he was the night before my brother graduated boot camp at Paris Island. I banged his fiance in a pool in a Holiday Inn at 17. Okay. So I was technically a rape victim too. Right. I'm saying we've all done things.
We've all done things. You've done quite a few things this evening. Have another one, Stanhope. Love you.
I just started.
I can tell.
Shit, that's awesome.
It's one of my favorite appearances because the square guy in the suit always goes with I guess they're both in suits, but Jesse Waters is like, ugh, have a few more. It's like, all right, I don't think it has anything to do with him drinking, although he does have a drink in his hand. But have you ever done, maybe not quite that, Don? Have you ever done one of those, like, you're going to be playing in a market, so you do like the local morning show, and you're like, oh, I've come into something that I wasn't even remotely prepared for?
Oh, I think you know very well that there's a clip out there of myself and Jim Florentine doing the local news in Kansas City, and our segment also was supposed to be 4 minutes. Much like Stanhope's, it ended prematurely with us being asked to leave the TV station and escorted out of the building. And if anybody wants to see what that's all about, just put in Jim Florentine and Don Jamieson morning show Kansas City, and you never saw a guy do plugs faster.
This would be the moment for me to roll that out, but instead, I've got one more clip to before we let you go. Oh my gosh, the greater good with $1.99. Feliz cumpleaños, Senor Hamburguesa. We appreciate that greater good. You mentioned
Mexican listeners to the Who Are These network. We appreciate that.
It's very controversial because Paco wants to be first, but every week you've got more Mexican listeners.
Paco's a fake Mexican compared to our real Mexican listeners.
Well, it all depends on how he eats his tortillas. In any case, I've got one more clip for Don before we let you get in your plugs, and it will reference somebody that you mentioned a moment ago.
Others imitate it. We appreciate it.
WATP, who are these local newscasters? Who are these newscasters?
Don, a moment ago you talked about how great the great Andrew Dice Clay still is. I just saw him about a month ago at the Will Turn here. Still, the act is definitely a little different, but it's still so funny. And you've known him the whole time you've been in comedy, it seems like, right, Don?
Yeah, a good part of it, and doing 10 years with him on the road, whatever you're going to show will not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. I've watched the man shoplift. I've seen him take his shirt off on airplanes. Anything you pull out now is not going to surprise me.
No, and I think everybody should give Andrew Dice Clay a follow on Instagram, where he goes up to people who have no idea who he is and says it's okay if they want a picture, and just how he really just doesn't let them alone. Well, he was in New York doing Good Day New York, and he decided to help out the local weather girl here.
They've definitely picked up in speed, causing for blustery conditions across the region.
Sweetheart, I got it from here. I'm good with this because I was already outside. I don't know if you were out there.
Yes. Well,
it's coming. There's going to be more sun, after the rain and everything, because I was out there. Picture Sly Stallone did the weather. Hey, yo, bring an umbrella. Absolutely. You see what I mean? You got to start throwing things like that in if you're going to beat the competition.
I see. It's a way to prepare the
John
audience.
Travolta, right? He's got the commercial, right? Listen to this. You're going to die. I swear you're going to crack up. It's really raining out there, right? Wear the galoshes. Things like that.
That's a technique.
I'm
Yes.
going to let you take it over.
Well, good thing
I'm
you
just
wore your...
giving people another chance to look at me. I got to.
Yeah, good.
I'll
Well,
be over here
You
now.
look prepared. You came with sunglasses because now we have the sun coming through.
Exactly,
So no
the
need for the
sun-
umbrella. Oh, here we have more company.
what happened?
Let's just bring everybody
this
in.
love fest because she's got things to. Did you say what you need to say, Audrey?
It's going to be good for the rest of the day. Yes.
I deal with weather every day.
I noticed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like a weather freak. I don't know why they show everything though, like all the surrounding areas. Like who cares? We got to worry about where we are.
Well, sure. Well, I'm showing the U.S. right now.
That was see what I mean? The U.S.
Yeah.
Worry about you. Like in California, worry about you. We got to worry about us over here. Multiple times.
It's gotten to a point where he's sounding like Cumia doing him.
Yes.
And I love the John Travolta as Barbarino.
Yeah, the 1977. Yeah, it's not even from Greece. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And the MC Hammer jacket is the greatest.
Oh, well, speaking of that, Cameron Soder says he's dressed like Wesley Snipes from New Destiny. That is a great look for your buddy Andrew. I hope he lets you borrow that jacket. But anyway, Don, thank you for being so generous with your time. Please let everybody where they can find your show, that Jamieson show. I hear you've got a great guest coming up in the first show of the new year.
Well, I do. I got the German metal queen Doro on, and and maybe a young up and coming broadcaster that you might have heard of, Christian Bladt. And I always appreciate spending Christmas with you and all that kind of stuff. So follow me on my socials and all that stuff. DonJamieson.com, the whole thing already. Got that for my sister for this year.
It says Merry Christmas, twat. It's a brick she got you.
That's right. And
well,
it's,
Don,
it's all about the holidays, folks.
Hey, I like the hair too, by the way. I don't know what you're doing to it, but it's got a sheen, motherfucker. It looks good. Holy shit, look at that hair.
Dude, you look like Mitch Hedberg about 2 days after he died.
I can't follow that one for sure.
No, that's perfect. And yeah, definitely check out Don New Year's Eve in Nashville. Don, thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Hedberg's still making more money than me.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you
guys.
soon. Thanks
Thanks,
again, Don Jamieson. Oh,
he's the man. That's awesome having Don on here.
Yeah, that was great. And as we pointed out, discount Don Jamieson said no. So that's why we have actual.
He's busy. Julie keeps him working over there.
Thank
Can
you.
I read this one?
Yeah, please.
You know what? That's a good idea, Carl.
73 Candy Daddy 93 $2 for the Frosted Tips Fund. Happy birthday, Carla Scola.
Happy birthday.
Shit.
Thank you. Frosted Tips are not free, just so everyone knows. So thank you.
Was
Keep the money coming.
Was getting frosted tips successfully added as a consequence on the creep off? I caught a little bit yesterday.
We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been added officially or not.
I'm just trying to think of who I would rather see with frosted tips, you or Vinny. And I think we all need to see Vinny with frosted tips. You know,
how was frosted tips discovered? Did you get out in front of it, or did someone bring it up on the show?
All right, so here's what happened, Eric. I do not have frosted tips. I don't dye my hair. My hair is what it is. I'm going gray.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I don't have frosted tips. So I don't react to a lot of threads in our subreddit, but for whatever reason, I saw this thread that Carl's frosting his tips and everyone's agreeing in there. So I had to bring it up at the top of one of the Who Are These Pockets. I'm like, I always forget if I don't do it right now. Let me just bring this up. I don't frost my fucking tips. And ever since then, people think that I'm hiding in plain sight over here and that I am frosting my tips.
But you're not frosting your tips.
I don't frost my fucking tips.
I think it looks good, even though, I mean, I like.
Well,
it looks like it. So it's just naturally frosting? Is that what you're suggesting?
I don't know. It's the lighting in the studio. I don't know what the fuck it is. But I like Eric Zane. He's the best. Because he goes, I've met Carl. I didn't realize that his teeth are crooked or he's fat or he doesn't have a chin. I think his hair looks good. I love the level of lying to me that you do. It makes me feel good, Eric. I appreciate it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's why.
I feel like it's my birthday.
People are assholes, but then I don't think that. But then when someone has a joke about your teeth on the chat, I gotta go with it. We've had some good ones recently.
Understood. I'm with you on that. Good instincts.
Yeah, let's remember that Eric, you did point out that Carl might have resembled that piranha that we had on the show. So
with the teeth, yeah.
Fuck you. So I'm just saying that it's not all compliments, Carl.
Yeah. So you guys are familiar. You guys are familiar with the Nashville Predators, the NHL team?
Sure.
So picture picture their logo. We're in Nashville for WATP Live, and we're driving by the arena, and they have the logo up there, and Vinny goes, hey, look at Carl, it's you! And I'm looking at it right now. He actually made stickers called Rochester Predator, and it's a little bit more looking like me, but with the Nashville Predators logo.
Yeah, and if you believe Eric Zane, he thinks that this looks like you. I don't think it looks like you.
Okay,
actually.
all right. Well, I mean, it depends. It depends on who's. Oh, fuck! There it is. There's.
Anyway, all right. Well, we're having fun. We're doing it. It's happening. I have one more before we get into some more of Carl's favorite people. I have one from the local news file that I wanted to touch on. So obviously, fast food is something that's very personal to some people. I've gotten into actual arguments about how terrible I think Whataburger is. And there's questions as to what's actually worth your time, taking the time to actually wait. And Idaho just got their first In-N-Out burger. And there's some idea that it's worth the wait. And I may or may not have an opinion on this, but let's hear what they have to say here.
Uh-oh.
Are we reading lips, or how are we doing?
Yeah,
this today?
I wasn't. I thought I was the only one.
Okay, so that's me.
I fucking shit.
All right, so that's my bad. All right, my mistake. Oh my God.
If you need me to kill time, I've got something.
If we have some chats.
Oh,
to get
good.
to,
Yeah, because this nice person, super happy, fun chatter, threw $22 at it.
Nice.
And is really leaning into the sign off for Christian. I don't even want to read it because I mean, some of you can see it obviously, but we're going to
No, it's fine. We just have to let Happy Fun Chatter know that I'll read it at the end of the show.
Yes,
remember, we had somebody that one time we thought we didn't read it, but I will read it at the end of the show. I'll
read it right now. What are you guys afraid of? I, Christian Bladt, thought freeing the slaves was a bad idea until I got a BJ from a black dude by the entrance to the Lincoln Tunnel for only $20. If blacks aren't free, their prices are the next best thing.
See,
Christ.
somebody
this
gets
fun chatter is a fun chatter.
Yeah,
Well
that is
done.
a super happy, fun chatter. Anyway, I look forward to saying that, but what I look forward to more is somebody spending $24 to just send a super sticker. But my point I was trying to make before, really trying to show off that Piranha really fucked everything up. So that's what I get, Carl.
Oh, good
Good.
job. Karma.
I'm glad. Wait, this is
Yeah.
my show. Hold on a second.
Hey, wait a minute. It's your whole network. So they opened their first In-N-Out in Idaho.
Week, we learned the answer to the age-old question, how long would you wait in line just for an In-N-Out burger?
At the store's first location in Idaho, some patrons had to wait as long as 8 hours. The Southern California burger chain opened its newest location in Meridian, Idaho, a city just outside of Boise. This week's opening featured customers even braving cold temperatures to camp out overnight.
So I can't imagine waiting 8 hours, for pretty much anything. How long would you guys wait for an In-N-Out burger? Is it measured in minutes?
Yes, let me explain this. The name of the place, In-N-Out Burger, okay?
Drive in, drive out, drive through.
I love In-N-Out Burger. Where I live, we do not have them. Whenever I'm on the West Coast, I make a trip to the In-N-Out Burger. But the reason why it's so great is because there are 3 menu items you can order. A cheeseburger, a double cheeseburger, and fries. It should not take more than 8 minutes to get an In-N-Out burger, not 8 hours.
I agree. And, it took me about 8 minutes to get this that I have right here. So I don't know what those assholes in Idaho are talking about. But what about you, Eric?
Oh, yeah, you go ahead and feed your face. I wouldn't wait for anything. Even if in my town they had one of those things that it was like a statue of Jesus crying blood, and I wouldn't wait 5 minutes to see that fucking thing.
I mean, if he's crying blood, I would probably wait 10 minutes. But
Hold on a second. Does Jesus crying blood grant wishes? Like,
Well, you know how it is.
I might wait around for a little bit.
Yeah, they say it does, but it's like, whatever.
They say it does.
Trick of the light.
All right.
The
Enough
day of his
prop
daughter's
comedy.
wedding or something. He's got to grant your desires.
Yeah. So I make fun of Howard Stern for being a prop comic, and then I do the same thing. So everybody wins. But Carl, it is your birthday.
I'm sorry. Isn't there a Bible verse on the bag? Did you read your Bible verse? There's always
Revelation
Bible verse.
3:20. So somebody in the chat look up what Revelation 3:20 is. But that is actually on here. Revelation 3:20. Yeah.
I thought
Carl,
Chick-fil-A was the churchy one.
I didn't know if you knew that. If you
did.
look in this fry container, the bottom of the cup, there's Bible verses. The guy who owns it is the Jesus freak.
Yeah.
No
But
shit.
he's not a shitty businessman like the guy who started Chick-fil-A. They're open on Sunday. Like he's like, I realize how much more money we can make. That's 52 days a year where we're not making any money. Carl, it's your birthday. We are here to celebrate you and the aforementioned Frosted Tips. And as part of that, I have put together some clips of some of your favorite people. And I know one of them but I want to share something with you that I know your buddies, Drew and Mike, had Corey Feldman on KTLA here in Los Angeles. And we do have some stuff from that. But what I feel like you haven't seen is an appearance that your boy Corey made on the Fox affiliate in San Diego, where in that appearance, he tells a story that I think definitely 100% actually happened, and there's no way that it's even remotely made up.
So I'm running through the airport. I'm late for a plane. And this is after you get through security. So the paparazzi can't be there. It's like, security people on the planes only. And so I'm running to make my plane. I've got my bag and I'm running with my security. I got my hat on and my glasses on. I'm looking down. Some guy taps me on the back of the shoulder. He goes, "Are you Corey Feldman?" I'm like, "How did you recognize me?" My head is down. My glasses are on. My hat's on. What do you? He goes, "Yeah, but you know what?" He goes, "I got to admit something. I'm a young guy. I'm like under 20. Yeah. Oh, wow. And I only know your music and you as a musician, so I'm not familiar with your past work." I said, "Then how did you recognize me?" He goes, "From the back of your head. I couldn't mistake your hair anywhere because it's you." I was like, "That's crazy."
Bullshit.
Oh my God.
I mean, look, I think there's a lot of people who can probably recognize Corey Feldman by the back of his head, but it doesn't have anything to do with his music career.
No, definitely not.
That's one of your favorite members of our chat, Eric.
Yeah, JFK head chug with "he smelled the stupid." Oh my God. Yeah, that fucking guy is really bizarre to me. I
can imagine Corey was singing one of his songs very loudly with his headphones on, running through the airport. So maybe that's why they were like, "Come back, kid." Is that him? Come back, King. Whatever that song is.
Who's this out of breath asshole singing Ascension Millennium?
Right.
So he has a lot of things to promote right now, and he did make an appearance here in LA on KTLA. And let's see how the appearance gets kicked off.
We know him from Lost Boys, The Goonies, Stand By Me, a ton of classics. And now working with our friends at Funko for the release, Corey Feldman, of a Corey Feldman, not one Funko Pop, but a pair of Funko Pops.
Nice.
How's it possible?
I've got a great pair of pops.
Apparently you do. But what does this feel like? And for the uninitiated.
So he's got a great pair of pops. That's and then he just kind of looks around. Now I did check out your buddy Drew and Mike's coverage of this, and one of them did characterize Corey's hair as having a tendril. Is this the Corey that you love, Carl? The where he's got like a leftover Michael Jackson or maybe Andrew Dice Clay jacket, and his hair's unkempt, and he's just selling himself. I feel like this should be the Corey that speaks to you.
Imagine this is what you have an interview that's on at 7 a.m. What time is the show on? 6 a.m. And
yeah,
this is the way you dress. This is you get up at 3:30 a.m. to get your hair all slicked back and everything perfect, your shades on, your outfit. At what point do you not commit suicide? At which point of that morning routine?
Wow.
I mean, there's been so many other times where Corey probably should have, considered going to Greenland, as our friend Dick Masterson
What is
would
he
say.
doing? It's especially when you're sitting with other people with suits on. Like, you got to bring it down a little bit. You're not on stage right now, Corey. It's fine. You can have morning attire Corey, and you'll be forgiven for it.
Abby Normal referring to him as young Grandpa Munster. Well done. Holy shit.
Well, he kicks it into high self-shill mode here. It's a little bit of a longer clip, but the local anchor has a great comment for him at the end. So we'll pause it as we go through.
And up until this point, I've had a mouth one from Goonies. I've had a Edgar Frog.
Sorry, he's talking about how there have been pop vinyls.
Yeah.
This is what he's on to sell, as we mentioned. But there have been ones for his characters before.
And up until this point, I've had a mouth one from Goonies. I've had a Edgar Frog one from Lost Boys, Donatello from Ninja Turtles. But there's never been an actual Corey Feldman doll because, they license characters from movies. But now that I've kind of become more successful in my music career.
Wanted to pause there in case there's any thoughts you have about that, Carl, about that he's become more successful in his music career. And
He
that's the time for
definitely
pop
has.
music.
He's opening for Limp Bizkit. This is a guy who just a couple of years ago was playing at AA ballparks in the atrium. That's where his band was getting booked. He's playing between the third and fourth innings.
Wow, is this an example of fake it till you make it? Because that sounds pretty good, frankly.
No shit. And now this guy's opening for Limp Bizkit. And don't get me wrong, it's a joke tour. But I guarantee they're going to sell a lot of tickets to that tour.
Yeah.
I think I might be making a trip to Detroit to come and see it when it goes through town.
Nicholas, he must have stood up in the jacuzzi. Thank you. Well done.
All
right,
the
so he's,
Matthew Perry route.
He's hard selling this pop vinyl.
They felt I should be in a pop icon series. So this is a special edition. Both of them are special edition. So you can't find them in any stores. You can only find them on my website at coreyfeldman.net, or I will be appearing one time only with them in person, live in person, where I will sign them for everybody. I will sell them there in person. And that's going to be next weekend at a place called D-Con, Designer Con, which will be in Anaheim, California.
As Drew Lane always points out, he makes everything so difficult. All of his plugs, they all have multiple steps you have to go through. He has that box set he's been selling. And he goes, okay, so where can we find this box set? All right. You got to have a special, you go to my website, you got to have a special code. There's a hidden link. When you find the link, you put in the special code. When you get there, you can then purchase it, but only if you can solve a riddle. And then once you solve that riddle, I'll autograph it and send it out to you. But you have to, no, this is the best. He goes, if you want me to sign it, order it, Send it to me. I'll sign it, and then I'll send it back to you. Like, no, this is too many steps, Corey. Just sign it and send it out.
I think as he explains here, he's figured out the signature process, how it works out. One, you can go to something called Decon. I've lived here for 20 years. I didn't know that Decon was a con where people go and sign things.
Isn't that what kills rats? Decon?
Yeah, they're in a big lawsuit right now, I think.
Yes. Holy shit.
Well, with Corey Feldman. All right. Well, he wants to make sure people know about this event.
In Anaheim, California at the Convention Center. And I will be there the 15th, 16th, and 17th, all 3 days to sign and sell my very original Funko Pop, which again, that's the only time, at least this year, that I'm going to do it. And there's a big rumor on the street that we're going to sell out at that convention. So
guys, the Funko Pop is dressed more appropriately than Corey is on this show.
It looks more
indoors.
Looks more
you don't
human.
need glasses. Yes.
Funko. Jesus Christ.
Where do you guys think the rumor started that they're going to sell out? I'm just wondering, was there a guy dressed like a mini Michael Jackson with sunglasses on at 8:30 in the morning?
Look at the look. I'm sorry. The look on the anchor's face right now. He's thinking, "Holy shit, I'm going to kill myself." Look at that.
I can't believe I'm doing 6 minutes of this. Where's Doug Stanhope? That would go a lot better. And Carl, I want you to know, I did look into buying one of these for you for your birthday. They're $80, and I decided I'd rather buy you a few rounds.
Thank you for not buying this for me. I like he said earlier. He goes, "Is the very original Funko Pop?" Talking about how this was an original one. They all look exactly the same. Funko Pops are so stupid. Yeah. They're the dumbest collectible ever. You can pop anything's name on anything and be like, "Oh, that was a Ninja Turtle." Okay, sure.
But Carl, these are limited. I don't think you understand why these ones are so valuable.
Tell everybody, pre-order from my website. You can get them right now at CoreyFeldman.net. And up until the 15th, which is when the cutoff is for post office to actually get them there by Christmas. God. So we spent all day yesterday filling hundreds of orders, hundreds of boxes, signing them all, packaging them all, and getting them to the post office today so they can hit people's Christmas trees by December 25th. Now, December 15th is, of course, the con. So we're telling everybody,
at
once
that
we
point,
hit that,
when he said, just before he said now, everyone in that room was like, okay. He's done. And then they hear now. And then he goes on to the next layer.
That's usually
Gene Simmons is watching this and going, You're selling way too hard here, Corey.
Oh, well,
you gotta pull the reins a little bit.
Carl, I'm so glad you said that.
Now, December 15th is, of course, the con. So we're telling everybody, once we hit that con, I can't promise you we're going to have any left.
So there you go. You should spend, or have you spent time with Gene Simmons? Because they have similar genes.
Well, we're both Jewish. So
there we go.
You've got that.
He's like, I'm not touching that one, asshole. Oh, you're both Jewish. I got a couple jokes for that. Oh, wait, never mind.
No, not this year. Oh, if this was last year, I could have.
Dude, this anchor is sitting there thinking, this was my dream job. This was my goal in life, to be on television in LA. And look at me now. Careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Talk about no awareness. You know what? It's always a little bit disconcerting when you have someone who is not aware.
Yes.
You know, and they're really thinking that there's something spectacular. He's all in, and everyone is in on the joke except him. Wow.
Yeah.
That's why we love him.
Yeah, I think that is why we love him. And if you were wondering how exciting it might be, this is sort of what Don was talking about when you get to the Wikipedia questions. How exciting is it to be a pop vinyl?
Was it exciting to you when they called you and said, "Hey, we want to do this"?
Beyond exciting. Because, first of all, I'm a big kid. I love toys. I love kids. I love, I'm a dad. So there's
probably not something that we should go around saying these days that we love kids, but this freeze frame for our visual audience is what I wanted to get. So assuming that this is at his house, that's
a wax museum. That's not at his house.
You know what? I sit corrected, Carl. There's no way that that's a human being, is it?
Yeah. That doesn't look anything like Corey Feldman. This is a terrible wax museum.
Who was that? Remember that fucking Neo, the goddamn, what was the movie with Keanu Reeves?
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Yes, and he's that hot chick. That's what he looks like. He looks like her.
Well, he's loving every minute of it.
There's always that kind of connection of like, you want to play, you want to have fun, but then you have like the idea that, hey, wouldn't it be cool?
I really just wanted to get to that picture. Where he's like,
You know
look
what
at
this-
how great it is.
you
There's
know
a
what this
tiny
reminds me
piano
of?
in the side. Sorry, go ahead, Carl.
What this reminds me of, when my wife and I moved in together, I had boxes and boxes of Eddie Nebula and the Plague CDs. It's my old band that I was in. And then Jen was in this band and she had boxes and boxes of her CDs. Like, those boxes you're seeing will be in his basement for 50 more years.
I'm gonna have to
never get rid of it.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Carl, because there's a rumor on the street that they're gonna sell out. Those boxes will be there, but they'll be empty. I'm glad that you mentioned the big tour that Corey has, because the anchor does I think a decent job of feigning interest or being impressed by it.
I don't know if you guys heard, but we just announced a huge tour.
Oh wow!
For next summer, I'm going to be touring with Limp Bizkit.
Oh my gosh!
And the California.
So he used his "oh wow" the first time. He's like, well, you got a huge tour. Oh wow! And I'm opening for Limp Bizkit, and he's like, oh, I've already pretended to be impressed.
Oh my gosh!
And the California show is going to be out at the Glen Helen Pavilion, which is only 65,000 seats. No big.
So, Carl, I agree with you.
I want to jump in real quick.
Go ahead, Eric.
Despite the joke, he does a fine job of really framing it in a way that he's bigger than anything that we've ever seen. We have to actually check ourselves and say, wait a minute. No, he's definitely fucked up. But for anyone who ever hears him talk, there's a brief instant in time where you actually think, maybe I'm the crazy one. That's the ludicrousness of this, because he does a really good job of hyping himself up. Hey, I don't know if you guys have heard, but, he doesn't slur his words. He presents it all okay, but it's all insane. It's remarkable.
Also, I don't think that show he's talking about is sold out yet. He's like, we're playing this place that has 65,000 seats. How many will be empty is my question on that.
Yeah, that is definitely what I was going to
I don't know anyone who's interested to see Limp Bizkit. The only thing that's good about him touring with them is I can leave early and get out of the parking lot.
I heard Sam Roberts talking about seeing Limp Bizkit at Madison Square Garden, and there couldn't have been a bigger curtain in the arena from the way he described it. It was, there's good seats down on the floor still available, and I don't know if adding Corey Feldman is going to really add on to.
Dude, he might be headlining before the tour is over. Are you kidding me?
Real quick, can I jump in? Because does that mean E flat nay? What am I seeing there? It says happy birthday to you, Carl.
Hey, thank you.
From Glasgow, Scotland. Take piss out of my action figure collector channel anytime. Phoning your folks later to tell them you're an A+.
All right, sounds good.
And Brian Kowalczyk says saw him in Jersey, packed, threw down.
No shit, Brian. I am jealous. That's awesome.
I attended a friend of mine had a big 50th birthday party. It's somebody that Carl knows, and he invited Corey Feldman because he wanted him to sing Ascension Millennium there, and it's the only reason he invited him. And Corey took the mic and said hi to people, but he was not giving a free performance for any no matter who was having the party. So I was this close to seeing Corey Feldman perform live.
Wow!
Yeah, I know.
Dust Cloud sends $4.99. That little bit of hair is for his male partners to hang on to. How about that?
I don't know. I don't think there's any rumors about that with Corey
Feldman.
Feldman.
No, I don't believe so. Liam McEnany.
The Corey Feldman box set is now discounted 25%.
Is it really? I gotta look that up. It probably.
I was going to say, knowing Liam, that's not a joke. He did the research, and he's
I
considered.
bet that is true.
He wants me to go halvesies with him. We would be done playing clips from Corey Feldman from this appearance, except for the fact that the still photo they bring up looks like
You can
this.
take a visit to Designer Con, which is going to happen the 15th through the 17th, Anaheim Convention Center. Ticket information there is designercon.com. Pre-order the Funko at Corey's own website.
Can you pause it?
Yep.
So that look on his face is kind of like, oh, geez, are you guys here already? I was just going to bed. I didn't realize this is just what I wear.
For our audio audience, it's basically he's dressed like, I don't know, the little brother of a Chippendales dancer.
Wow.
He's borrowing one of their large oversized jackets. And the anchor says nice photo, and Corey says, I know. Oh no.
The Wired Christian says that's a fuck me face. Okay, you say so.
Well, before we get to our main entree, which is just minutes away, I do need to visit with another one of Karl's favorite people, and for that, we go over to politics.
A lot of people talking about Christian in Karl's segment, making it great with who are these politics?
Now, the actual interview is 90 minutes, and I have just a little teaser. I think we'll have to get to this on a future episode, but I don't know if you got to see this, Karl, but two of your favorites sat down. Tucker Carlson interviewed Alex Jones, and they had some thoughts about the current occupant of the White House.
You see the system, the media going after Biden, and he deserves it, but they were covering it up until now. Now they're covering the laptop. Now they're covering attack on the dog. Now they're covering, all of his senility, all the corruption, the Chinese spies.
Attacking a dog. What a pig he is.
And that's just a taste of what you can get from
You
this.
fucking know all about this shit.
What the fuck?
What a pig he is.
I don't know, Tucker. I thought the Chinese spy sounded a little bit more concerning to me, but okay.
Yeah. But if it's Karl's birthday and we're spending time with politics, obviously who everybody wants to see is, of course, a gentleman known as 45.
But I think if you had a real election and Jesus came down and God came down and said, I'm going to be the scorekeeper here, I think would win there. I think would win in Illinois, and I think would win in New York, which is all places that, in theory.
We talked about bleeding from his eyes Jesus earlier. Do you think bleeding from his eyes Jesus would be able to run a fair election in this country? We can leave it out a rhetorical question if no one wants to jump in. But,
I mean, are mail-in ballots, do they have to be signed? What are we talking about here?
They have to be signed, but can they all be signed by the same person? I guess that's really the question.
You are fake news.
One last visit with Donald Trump, talking about somebody we've featured a good amount on this show, Ron DeSantis.
I love when they say, we really want to run against Donald Trump. That's the one we want. How did they do in 2016, by the way? We want Donald Trump. We don't want to run against Ron DeSanctimonious with his high heels and his bobblehead bullshit,
And people ask why anyone loves this guy. He's in a tuxedo, a big fundraiser, and he's like, and his bobblehead bullshit and high heels.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Have you, by the way, seen an image of him with next to his son Balen recently?
No.
Baron's a tall drink of water, as they
He's
say.
6'7". That kid we remember the little kid from 2016. He's a goddamn monster now.
And he can't even be on the bench for the Nets?
Yeah.
What's this kid doing?
Feed that kid the fucking ball.
Right.
He still looks like he's getting ready to shoot up a school, but I mean, the dude, he's got to have some fucking game.
You don't want to go in the paint against him, that's for sure.
No, fuck that.
Well, Karl, the reason why I was able to lean on you on Point Double Point to come in on the show today is because I promised something that'll be living over here in our talk show segment.
I said, can you dig it?
I think so.
WATP. Now who are these talk shows? Just who are these talk shows?
And I believe you have a drop you could use, but also if you want to explain Baylen Dupree, because Eric, I don't know how well associated you are with TikTok superstar Baylen Dupree.
Oh,
do you know anything about her?
Is that Tourette's girl?
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes, I know it from you introducing it through Karl.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think anybody who knows Karl's at least heard a little bit about Baylen Dupree. Is that accurate, Karl?
Yeah, we love Balen on Who Are These Socials. We've been checking her out for quite some time. And the big debate has always been, is it real? And I think that's the thing, because Tourette's is real and having tics is real, but having hilarious tics and Tourette's seems put on.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Chris Cuomo, we're going to see, runs into the same thing that everyone does, because I saw Balen was on a podcast recently, and the podcast host goes, "You're just so funny, Balen. We love you. You're so funny." Is she funny? Because if she is, then this is fake.
Yeah,
because she's
if
not writing jokes.
If it's real, you should not be laughing at her. You know?
Right. If it's real, then it's not funny. If you're like me, you think it's very funny.
And as we'll see, Chris Cuomo has some issues, sort of sitting through some of it. This is his intro, so we understand where he's coming from, and maybe for people who need a little reminder of who Balen is.
Yeah. Hoorah, hoorah, hoorah. That's all I have to tell you. Go yourself, scumbag.
Now, when I was first introduced to Balen, I thought she was just a great comedic actor and, doing blue material, whatever you want to call it. Corinne, who does all the styling here, said, no, you're wrong. This is the real deal. Then my 13-year-old, Cha-Cha, said, no, this is who she is. And then Dusty said it. And everybody knew it, but me. And now I'm totally devoted to what she's doing because it's so brave. And I'm not going to censor her. Yeah, she's going to say some things that you would not want to say yourself, let alone have said to you, which is probably going to be my position. But as I told Balen just moments ago, she's not going to say anything to me that my whole team hasn't wanted to say since the day that they met me.
Is that right, Fredo? Is she going to call you Fredo?
Well, no, not that. That's
an insult. That's a slur.
That's the N-word for us.
When I first saw this clip, I was so disappointed because I guess in the clip of Balen they show, it's bleeped. Fortunately, Balen is not. So we get her real thoughts. And as Chris is pointing out, she is going to speak her truth to us right here.
And Baylen Dupree joins us now. All right, kid. Thank you very much for coming on.
Already
and
insulting.
What do you hope you can do by taking the risks that you take so people can understand what you're dealing with?
I'm sorry, do you mind repeating the question? Oof, fuck off.
I want to stop there for a second, Karl. I think you might have done just a tad more studying of Balen than I have. I've never seen her flustered by a question before. Now I know this isn't the style I usually see her in, but were you surprised that she was like, I'm not going to just run with put the ranch down or something? She's like, let me have him rephrase it. I don't know, this didn't seem like Balen to me.
It's such a dumb question because it's brave is the word they like to throw out. They like to pretend that Balen, it's so brave. No. Having shitty teeth and frosted hair and then going on YouTube. Wait, did I just say that? No, she loves to talk about how brave, how do you do this? It's so brave of you. She's a TikToker who has over 9 million followers on TikTok. She makes a living because she's interesting. Why is that brave? I don't understand it.
Correct. She's also lucky that the goddamn world is the way it is. She's lucky that the technology is so that anybody at home can be interesting. It's fantastic.
Yeah. She's also lucky she has triple Ds. I don't know if you've seen what she looks like without a sweatshirt.
No, I haven't. I feel there's been a lot of comments about her breasts. How old is this person, by the way?
Well, that was what I was going to bring up because she's never looked younger than she does in this image right here. But yeah, how old is she for real, Karl?
She's 21. She turned 21 this summer.
Does she say, oh my God, look at my tits? Does she talk about them?
No.
Never. Okay.
In fact, people like to ask her like what it's like to have ticks and to have sex, and she does not appreciate that question.
Oh, okay.
She does not answer that question. I can imagine that it's dangerous for both testicles would be the answer that I would give to that.
Well, Chris is going to try to set it up some more.
What do you want people to learn?
I want people to learn that Tourette's is a neurological involuntary motor and vocal disorder. Fuck off. I don't tick 24/7, and there's a lot of little baby weenies. Fuck off. Fuck you, Chris. There's a lot of things that people don't understand. Like, people think that cussing is with everyone who has Tourette syndrome, but it's only in 10% of people with Tourette's.
Oh, that's the golden ticket. You're lucky.
Yep.
That's fucking great.
Now, how do you develop? She just developed a brand new tick. Fuck you, Chris.
Yeah.
Immediately on the show. And this is where I applaud Balen. I know you're faking it, but I love it anyway. Congratulations, Balen.
Wait a minute. No.
Good appearance, Balen. Good appearance.
You're eating into this, the whole premise of this. You think she's faking it? I don't know what she's doing would make you think that this isn't a real affliction that she has, especially squeezing this in the last second. just a little. She's like, oh, I hadn't done enough. And yeah, I think that I was glad that she worked in Little Baby Wieners. It's almost like if you went to see the Rolling Stones and they didn't play Satisfaction.
Exactly.
But Chris has some trouble. We saw it a little bit in this clip, but this is where you really start to see that, like, oh wait, I've got a camera on me. I can't react to this the way that Karl and Blind Mike would.
And how has it been as you've gotten more famous? Do you believe that people are understanding better, or are they dopes like me who think you're acting?
I say it's the same. I think there's a lot more people that don't understand what Tourette's is, and they like to educate themselves more. So I get thousands of DMs from parents, from teachers, from girls that have been diagnosed with Tourette's, and they've had to be kicked out of school for attention seeking because they rip up their homework or do things like that.
Come on, do it.
Parents
Do it.
reach out
Quit
to me
fucking being
asking me, oh, my son's coming home with a girlfriend and his girlfriend has Tourette syndrome. So, and then I also get very evil people that will comment and say, like, go fuck yourself, Chris. Little baby weenie, blam up your ass. Butter your own biscuit, fat ass. That have told me.
Had you ever heard Butter Your Own Biscuit, Fat Ass before, Karl? That seemed like a new one to me.
I have heard that one.
Oh, okay.
That's a great one. Yeah, it's a deeper pull.
Has she ever dropped the N-word?
To my knowledge, no, she has not.
And I think that's probably the number one thing to point to for people who don't think it's real. If it was really uncontrollable,
right.
I feel like she would have to.
I am not convinced this is real.
Well, you know what? Maybe you'll come around like Chris Cuomo. He says that he's a dope who thinks it's not real, but he's having some trouble in the last few seconds of this clip.
Fat ass that have told me that my parents deserve to die in a car accident because I'm faking.
Worst time to be laughing too. Chris, what are you doing? You have one job to do, and that's not to react like you're watching TikTok right now. You're not watching TikTok right now.
I know. There's that moment when he hears, there's probably a slight delay. He hears in his ear that my parents should be dead, and he's like, okay, I need to get this look off my face.
My parents deserve to die in a car accident because I'm faking my condition, or people have told me that, like, I've had to have the police at my house.
Can I just point something out? I did not say which way I wanted her parents to die. Okay, so she's making that part up.
Yeah,
I didn't have a preference.
Yeah, it was probably, just I don't know. In a lot of different ways it could happen.
My location, and so they're gonna come torch my house. Like, it's crazy.
Here's the thing.
Fuck off.
She gets in an extra fuck off. All right, so Chris, I think that moment where he almost loses it while she's talking about people, making death threats to her family. That's when he realizes, okay, I gotta try to wrap this up. But also, people are watching this for a reason. So this is our final clip here of Baylen Dupree on News Nation with Chris Cuomo.
Here's the thing. Clinically, people suck, and they're mean, and they're stupid, and they try to make themselves feel better by going after others. And you are the antidote, my young friend, because you have my kids. You have my kids repeating your lines so that it's almost become cool. And not
which lines do you think you would want your children saying, Eric? You've heard enough of her to know. Do you want them running around saying little baby wieners?
You fuck off. And just saying fuck off, Dad. Fuck off. Fuck off, Chris Cuomo.
Well, that they probably should say.
Jesus.
Not because, it's raunchy. It's because you're being real and you're living your truth.
Bullshit.
And they love it. They love the bravery of it. And so do I. And I love how you've changed your mission. You were at university. COVID was tough for you, tougher than for most, right? Really blew up your symptoms.
And now, Karl, that seems to feed into something I know you guys were talking about on Who Are These Socials recently, is that she talks about how she didn't have this really in high school or anywhere that anybody knew her. So even in college before it closed down for COVID, right? She's like, yeah, really, that's when it started happening. Not where anybody who remembers me would be able to.
It does seem suspicious when she was talking about how back in high school she had like 5 ticks a day and she could control them. So none of her classmates knew she had this. I can only imagine how many people are watching who graduated with her going, but she's totally making all this up. I was in health class with her. I was in science, biology with her. Also, is Chris Cuomo British? All of a sudden, did he just say when you went to university?
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that. I did think that was odd that he referred to it as university. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, oh, wait.
Simon 343 for $4.99 says, you name it, I screw it, line it up, little baby wiener.
That's one of my favorites. You name it, I screw it. Oh, it's fantastic.
And then 73 Caddy Daddy 93 thinks Carl is pounding his pud. Where's your hands? Carl, no frosting the tip.
You know what? We cannot see your hands right now. It's
Listen,
a great point.
I knew we were going to go over this, so I beat off to Balen before the show started, guys. All right. I'm a pro.
Right. That makes it a lot easier. All right. Let's
now you want to be a physical therapist because exercise helps you and you believe it's a way that you can help others. A personal trainer, right?
As hysterical as she is this who you would want as your personal trainer?
Yes.
Or physical therapist?
Hey, Christian,
okay.
yes. Yep. I'm making an offer as we speak. I'm typing up an offer to
her. Eric, you feel like she's somebody you want putting her hands on you?
Yeah, everybody working out sucks, for God's sake. I mean, that's you're getting strong and you're entertained. Absolutely.
Yes. So I go to the gym 5 days a week and I go to a workout class, splitting it throughout the week. I love exercise. My boyfriend got me into it. I've been doing it for about a year now.
Hey, honey, you should probably work out. Hey, I got you a treadmill for Christmas.
He's like, yeah. Why do you think I put up with all this bullshit? All right, let's. There's no COVID now. All right, go ahead. Let's get on the treadmill.
I love it. It's my release. I obviously go to the gym and I wear headphones, and that's also a very big factor in how. Fuck off, fuck Colin, fuck that bitch. That's also a really big part in.
I do want to comment. So this is her boyfriend in this image that Chris is showing right now, right, Carl?
Yes.
I mean, what, 13-inch cock? I don't understand how possible. That doesn't make any sense to me. And yes, I know she's weird and she pretends that she has these tics, but this guy. Look, I'm just saying it's a little hard to believe.
Oh,
and
Christian, can't they just be two young kids in love? Come on.
Yeah, and we did want to be able to let Eric get a look at what's going on right there. All right,
yeah,
so now you can see her. Look, the whole thing. Look, the tics might be fake, but looks like something else might be real. Okay.
Fuck off, fuck Colin, fuck that bitch. That's also a really big part in my journey was starting out with him.
Well, I love seeing him in the videos. You guys have a great bond. I love everything about your family, and I love the story you're telling to people and living your truth.
You're done.
My kids.
You're done.
My God, you know what? I am done. I got to go to phone calls because they're blowing up with support for you. So I hope you can watch it at home and listen to everybody who wants to say great things to you.
Blow up that wiener. Carl, do you think that he was out of time or he realizes I'm just going to lose it? So I maybe have to, Doug Stanhope this segment by a minute or two.
Let me ask you this, Christian. Is it in my world, I've been sent these clips by everyone, right? Obviously, we've been talking about Baylen Dupree for a while, but I feel like this actually made some pretty big news for Chris Cuomo nationally. Am I wrong about that? I mean,
it did because I think a lot of people don't even know. He's on the same this News Nation is the same streaming service that Bill O'Reilly had to settle for. So when you get disgraced in cable news, but you can still generate a lot of money with subscribers, that's where you end up. And I think they actually do a show together. Yeah,
Christian, are you saying that about this network?
Fucking thing sucks.
I might be. I
agree.
That.
I agree.
I wonder if a bark collar works on Tourette's. Someone's tried that shit.
It's hilarious.
God damn.
Yeah, his name's Colin.
That is our Christmas, Karl birthday celebration, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. We fit everything into here. We will be back next Tuesday, by the way. We'll be doing a Boxing Day show. I think Eric and I will be sharing some of our favorite videos from the year.
They asked me for the day off. I said, absolutely not. Yeah. You haven't earned vacation time yet.
Hey, and we're excited for those 70 to 91 people who will enjoy it live. Yeah, that's right.
Those
Who
are
else
my
you wanna
favorite
be on
people.
Boxing Day?
That's
The
still
super
two or three times as many as I get on my normal show.
Well,
Fucking hey.
if people want to become one of the chosen 12, checking out the Eric Zane show, where do they go and do that, Eric?
Well, first of all, you can head over to Twitch and just search Eric Zane Live and follow me, and then you can get the show live as it happens Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. There's a bunch of other shit, but I say it in that show. So just check out that show, and we'll go from there.
Carl, I know you mentioned this when Eric tried to get his plugs on when you were filling in for Anthony Cumia. I don't understand what is going on with his plugs. It's like you can go to Twitch for a little while, and then you gets free for a while, then eventually you have to pay for it.
I never said that. I never once said that, you asshole.
It's like a Corey Feldman Funko Pop. I have no idea where to go or what to do.
What the fuck? How hard is that? I said, go to Twitch, Eric Zane Live. There it is. It can't get more easy, you dicks.
I do believe you've streamlined your plugs since then. So, yeah. But Eric Zane Live is where you need to go.
Now, if you're in the Central Time Zone, it's free from 7 a.m. till 8. But if you're on the West Coast,
I give up. Fuck you. Fucking assholes. That's what this is. This is bullshit.
Carl, obviously, if people are here, they should already be subscribing to the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. But what's coming up on tomorrow's midweek episode of WATP?
So what we've been doing lately on our midweek episodes is we have our regulars on, Lucy Typebox and Trucker Andy, and we've been competing to see who can find the worst podcast in different categories. Tomorrow's category is mental health. So we'll be checking out the worst podcast in the mental health category. And boy, there are a lot of podcasts that deal with mental health for some reason. Because that's what I like to do to relax and unwind, is listen to people talk about their mental health. It's always fun.
Yeah, that's a good way to take the edge off, is hear about mental health. And because you mentioned her, for our boy Eric, there's Lucy Typebox for you right there. All right?
Oh my God.
Although I feel like if I ran that picture by her, she'd be like, "Let me send you a different one." That's
right.
Look at that mad face. Just beat my ass.
No, you know what she looks like? She looks like a real doll of Lucy Typebox. Eric, I might get that for you next year if you're a good boy.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
It's a better investment than a Corey Feldman Funko Pop. As I mentioned, we will see you next Tuesday for Boxing Day, and check out my personal podcast, the Blackcast. BLADTCAST. We did a special episode with the Dabbleverse's own Carlos Danger, where we reviewed the Christmas classic Silent Night, Deadly Night. And tomorrow night I'll be doing a show with the entire gang from Shitty Song of the Week, going track by track through the Star Wars Christmas album from 1979. Which don't confuse it with the Christmas special. The Christmas album is a different pile of shit.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you get a Wookiee for Christmas when he already owns a comb?
Love and understanding. I wish I didn't know the answer, but that's the answer in the song. So
Carlos Danger, you just mentioned, Insufferable Bastards podcast, $5 super sticker.
Yay, super chats.
Thank you, Carlos Danger.
As we prepare to sign off, Eric, I do need that $22 chat. So Merry Christmas. We'll see you next Tuesday. And remember, every mic is a hot mic, but I, Christian Bladt, thought freeing the slaves was a bad idea until I got a BJ from a black dude by the entrance to the Lincoln Tunnel for only $20. If blacks aren't free, their prices are the next best thing. Merry Christmas, everybody!